Ovid wrote, Metum.
L5.
v341. Ceres was the first to loosen the earth with a shovel and then a plough, the first to nourish the fertile earth and yield crops, as well as the first to give laws. I gave a common-sense translation, not a poetic translation, from Prima Ceres unco glebam turam demoviteratro, prima dedit fruges alimentac misha terris, prima dedit leges. On the subject of Ceres, Jacob Bryant wrote, Analysis of Ancient Mythology, Volume 2, page 38. The deity, to whom she was a substitute, was Ul, the sun. He was primarily worshipped in these temples, and I have shown that they were from Acre denominated Acherontian, also temples of Ops and Upes, the great serpent god. Hence it is said by Hesychius, that Acron, and Ops, and Hele, and Geras, and Terra, and Demeter, were the same. Ceres was the deity of fire, hence at Cnidus she was called Cura, Kyra, Celius. Rodorg. L17. C27. A title of the sun. Her Roman name Ceres, expressed by Hesychius Geras, was by the Dorians more properly rendered Gares. Varro speaks of Ceres, as if her name was originally Gears.
L4. P18.
Varro allegedly existed in 2nd to 1st centuries BC, so the G had been introduced to Italian culture by then. However, prior to that, the C functioned like a G, which is why G and C, or K, are interchangeable in ancient languages and alphabets. So it is likely that Ceres was pronounced Geras. Also recall that the Persian name for the sun was Kiros, Kiru, and Kiran, which if entertaining the K to G interchange, would have been Gyros, Gyru, and Gyron.
Kiron γαρ καλήν Πέρσα στον ήλιον. Πλούτορκ, Ορταζέρξης, Σέρκα 75 AD.
Bryant continued, page 38. It was originally a city, called Charis, translating as grace, hence a Eucharis being Eucharist, or good grace, for many of the deities were erroneously called by the names of the places where they worshipped. Bryant claimed, page 39, that the towers of Ceres were Prytanea, which were initially fire towers, confused by the Greeks as, literally grain fund, or granary. Recall wheat and fire are the same word in Greek, and that corn originally meant grain or seed, not maize, so when you read that Ceres was the goddess of corn, it's literally the goddess of grain. This confusion, according to Bryant, led the Greeks to interpret temples of Horus as granaries of corn. However, this may not be a misinterpretation, as we see the Pictish towers and the Nuragic towers having possible similar functions. Revisit the following article for the similarity of towers found in Britain and Sardinia, Sardegna. Bryant wrote, page 41. Many of these temples were dedicated to the deity under the name of Persephone, or Proserpine, the supposed daughter of Ceres. They were in reality the same personage. Persephone was styled Cora, which the Greeks misinterpreted, Parthenos, the virgin, or damsel. How could a person, who according to the received accounts had been ravished by Pluto, and been his consort for ages, who was the reputed queen of hell, be styled by way of eminence? Cora, which they understood was the same as Cura, a feminine title of the sun, by which Ceres was also called Cnidos. However mild and gentle Proserpine may have been represented in her virgin state by the poets, yet her tribunal seems in many places to have been very formidable. In consequence of this we find her with Minos and Rhadamanthus, condemned to the shades below, as an infernal inquisitor. Bryant doesn't seem to have the astronomical knowledge to explain this, or he chose to omit it. But if you comprehend the symbolism of winter being allegorized as hell, the abyss, the shades below, etc., as well as those male archetypes representing the sun in winter, and the signs or months the sun moves through during that portion of the year, then it's quite easy to see the signification of a maiden being carried away, which is that the virgin archetype represents Virgo, who began her reign as lord of the ascendant at the beginning of winter, and then ruled the winter skies, making her way towards the mid-heaven by dawn. You can observe this today, but must account for the degrees of precession to know where Virgo was thousands of years ago, which is the value of creating and maintaining the tropical system. These subjects are treated in great detail in the Spirit World series, along with the historical implications of being able to track this system in different regions only accessible by maritime travel. Become a member to access the rest of this article.